All right, so we are back up at the cabin again this weekend. It is Canada Day, a long weekend, and we are excited to celebrate up here. However, we've got a lot of work to get done, but it's not on our cabin this time. My brother-in-law and his wife are putting in a cabin in the property next to ours, and we are going to help them clear some land. So that's what we're going to start off doing. We're going to help them clear land for their driveway, as well as the land for the cabin, and we're hopefully going to help them throughout the fall getting their cabin built. So if you're interested in seeing how they're building their off-grid cabin, make sure you follow along. Also this weekend, we're planning on checking out our trail cams, seeing what's going on with those, what kind of animals we're seeing in what areas, and hopefully getting some steps put in down to our fire pit. We're hoping to find some really nice flat rocks around the area that we can build into steps so that we're not constantly going down a berm. And for right now, we're going to go get to work. So the land that we have here is generational land. This is land that was bought by my husband's parents over 20 years ago. And there's 2 plots of lands together that have been kept on separate names. And my father-in-law gifted them in a living will to us so that we could start building on the generational land for future generations. So we started building our cabin, and we got a shell in and have framed it out and have been building ever since. However, this year, my brother-in-law and his wife decided it was time for them to start their own project for their own off-grid cabin. This lot was all forested. They had cleared some to be able to put up a tent pad for area for a tent and a small camp, but that was it. The rest was all trees. So this project now is consisting of clearing trees for a driveway into this spot and clearing trees to fit in a 20 by 30 cabin. They had been hard at work before we had even arrived. They have a friend who is a professional arborist come in and help them fell a lot of trees. And they had been here many weekends beforehand clearing trees as well. So there was a decent amount cleared by the time we got here. And when we did, it was just time to cut those trees into pieces and start stacking wood. They had already had this fun little spot stacked where it looked like a little cabin all on its own. But by the time we were done with this, it was stacked 5 layers deep, and it was quite full, so there will be firewood to come for many years. The majority of the trees here are birch and spruce, with a little bit of maple, as well as some balsam fir. As we like to say here, many hands make little work, and it is always a family affair. So that means everybody's helping out. The kids helped out, and they did just as much as the adults did. We got a lot of work done. Because having a mulching machine would be quite expensive for a couple days, the decision was to burn as much brush as possible, so there was constantly a fire going. Yes, there was a fire permit. I know there's a lot of forest fires in Canada right now. However, in our area, it's been quite wet, so there was a permit available for a good burn. After hauling wood by hand for a while, we decided that we should probably just break out the wheelbarrow and that should help. Unfortunately, this didn't last too long because that rolled wheelbarrow is 40 years old and has seen many days of hard work, and it eventually gave up the ghost on us. I think we got about 3 or 4 loads in before the wheelbarrow retired itself. So my father-in-law decided that it was time to go invest in a new one, and he left at that point to go purchase another wheelbarrow to help us out. And then my brother-in-law decided that we should be working smarter and not harder, and he went and got the four-wheeler with the trailer. So that can help us pull in the loads of wood from further away into the spot where we were stacking it. These birch pieces were so wet and heavy. After cutting it, you could literally see the watery sap just bubbling out of those pieces. They were just so wet.
Oh, it's going that way.
Oh no!
After a full day of hauling wood, stacking wood, and burning wood, these kids were itching to get on their four-wheelers. It is their absolute favorite part of being up at the cabin, is getting on a four-wheeler and going cruising throughout the forest. We have a lot of trails throughout the forest that my in-laws put in a long time ago and are constantly maintained, so it's really great to get those four-wheelers out. We decided to go check the trail cams and got all of our cards out to see what has been around. So unfortunately, on 3 of my trail cameras, we had absolutely nothing. But the one with the food plot that I just put in the other month was quite busy. A doe or two had frequented the area quite a lot, but didn't look like it was eating anything. And then we had this bear come by. We've seen a lot of bear sign on the property, bear scat, as well as bear claws climbing up beech trees, but I had yet to capture one on a trail camera, so I was so excited to see this. This is definitely promising for a fall hunt for deer or bear, so I will continue to keep an eye on this, and hopefully we'll have good luck this fall.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Nice, eh?
The next day we were back at work. The goal was to get as much cleared as possible so that when the excavator was coming the following weekend, they could just worry about taking out the stumps and leveling things off so that the driveway could be put in later this month. Today there was a lot of brush cleanup. So clearing all the brush from the sides and just getting a good burn going to hopefully avoid that wood chipper. Once that was done, we were off for another trail ride. So a project that we had in mind for our own cabin this weekend was getting a natural stairway put down to our fire pit. So from our cabin down to our fire pit, it's a fairly steep, sandy hill that we need to go on, and it's a little treacherous, especially in the winter. So we had wanted to put in a stair steps down there so that it's a lot easier to be bringing down food or plates or anything like that. And we knew we had a lot of stones around the property to choose from. So the guys got out in the morning. My father-in-law had kind of spotted the perfect stone across the road to go find. So they worked on getting that in. And after that, they headed back into the property to go find some more to finish up that stairway.
Well, no, you just have to make sure we get enough sand.
Filled in the rocks on the east side here. Just past the creek, there was a real wet area. And Elgin and I, we did a patch from this long. Oh, karate. And then back by that,
Okay, 1 sec. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. He meant one of the dogs. Yeah? Yeah.
We love being able to work with materials from our own property. It just gives a way more natural and authentic look to what we're doing. And we are here to be in nature, so we'd rather keep things as natural as possible.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking like this guy, like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I was thinking like that, or go like that with it, might be.
Because this berm was pretty much all sand and gravel, it was really easy to dig out and then be able to fit in the steps in a very even way.
I like it. Yeah. Sorry.
And just to make sure that the smaller stones stuck together with the big stones to make a complete step, my husband had brought up some extra concrete mix that he had, and he just put that together to be able to just firm that up a bit.
There is a fourth camera. Elliot saw it.
Yes, I know there is.
Okay.
Oh, is it out there already?
Yeah, remember Elliot?
Yeah.
Where'd we put it,
You
Elliot?
mentioned,
Where we turned around.
yeah, so where we got these rocks.
We are definitely really happy with the finished product. All right, so I came back to the garden. It's doing really, really well. I'm going to show you what we've got growing here and how well those potatoes are doing. So it's growing in on either side quite well, but right now the garden space is still pretty freed up. These potatoes are doing really well. So we're going to go ahead and hill them up a bit while we're here. And hopefully they continue to grow well. But so far, the deer that we saw through here on our trail camera really haven't touched this spot. All right, so back here, our potatoes again are doing really well. It looks like all of them have come up nicely. But as I'm looking down here, I don't see any beets. So I don't think we have any beets here growing. So I may replant this, maybe with some turnip before we leave and see what happens. But other things are starting to come back here. So we'll try and get some other plants like beets or turnips, or probably not brassicas. Mind the four-wheeler noise. We've got that around here quite often. That and chainsaws right now. I think I'll just replant where I have my beets here. We've seen the rabbit in the trail camera quite often, deer and bear. I don't see the deer eating anything though, so I'm not sure whether it's here for the beets, but the deer have not touched the potatoes, so I'm really happy about that. A couple of beets showed up. And here too, just really small.
What's there? What are those?
Potatoes.
Oh, there.
This fills them up so they grow straight up near the surface, guys. And actually, a potato that gets sunlight on it is poison. So they get the green on it there.
Hey, Mom. Just wondering. How much longer until you move the cereal?
So after all that wood cutting, our brother-in-law was generous enough to let us take all of this wood. So this is all going to come home with us to help keep our house warm this winter. So this is for our firewood. And when we come up next, there's all this wood here that we can take home. So we are set for firewood for the winter. Well, that's enough work for us for this weekend. We're going to be up again soon because there's so much work here that needs to be done still. If you're looking for a tour of our off-grid cabin, I'm going to attach that right here. Make sure you take a look. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I'll see you next time.